The Mysterious Castle of Emotions. In a magical kingdom, beyond mountains and forests, stood a mysterious castle. This castle was extraordinary because each of its rooms held a different emotion. Living in the castle was a young sorceress named Sophie. She was 7 years old and very curious about the world. Sophie loved exploring new corners of the castle, although it wasn't always easy. One day, Sophie decided to investigate the oldest and most mysterious part of the castle. She knew that every room had its secrets, but she never knew what to expect behind the doors. Sophie had a certain problem, though. Sometimes, when someone said something she didn't like, she reacted with anger. The sorceress knew she had to do something about it, but she didn't know how. Sophie wandered through the castle corridors until she reached a door that had never been opened before. On the door was the inscription, "Room of Anger." Sophie felt that this might be the place to help her understand her emotions. Sophie opened the door and stepped inside. The room was dark and filled with red light. In the center stood a large red sphere. Sophie approached it and touched it gently. Suddenly, the sphere began to speak. "Hello, Sophie. I am Anger. I know that sometimes you feel very angry when someone says something you don't like. Do you want to learn how to deal with it?" Sophie nodded. "Yes, I really would." "Anger is a natural emotion," the sphere said. "But it's important how you express it. You can try deep breathing, counting to 10, or finding a calm place where you can relax." Sophie thought about what the sphere said. "But what if someone really hurts me with words?" The sphere replied, "Then it's worth talking to that person. Tell them how you feel, but without shouting or anger. You can say, 'What you said made me feel sad.'" Sophie thanked Anger and moved on to the next door. This time she found herself in front of a room with the inscription, "Room of Sadness." She entered and saw blue light and a gentle mist. In the middle of the room sat a sorrowful figure. "Hello, Sophie, I am Sadness," said the figure. "Sometimes, when someone says something you don't like, you might feel sad. Do you want to learn how to deal with it?" Sophie nodded. "Yes, please." "Sadness is also a natural emotion," Sadness said. "It's important to allow yourself to cry if you need to. You can also talk to someone you trust about what's troubling you." Sophie thought about what Sadness said. "But what if I don't have anyone to talk to?" Sadness replied, "Then you can write a letter to yourself or to the person who hurt you. Even if you don't send it, it will help you understand your feelings." Sophie thanked Sadness and moved on to the next door. This time she found herself in front of a room with the inscription, "Room of Joy." She entered and saw bright yellow light. In the center of the room danced a cheerful figure. "Hello, Sophie. I am Joy," said the figure. "Sometimes, when someone says something you don't like, you can try to find something that makes you happy. Do you want to learn how to do that?" Sophie nodded. "Yes, I really would." "Joy is a wonderful emotion," Joy said. "You can try doing something you like, such as drawing, singing, or playing with friends. It's important to find something that brings you joy, even in difficult times." Sophie thought about what Joy said. "But what if I can't find anything that makes me happy?" Joy replied, "Then it's worth trying something new. You might discover a new passion that brings you joy." Sophie thanked Joy and moved on to the next door. This time she found herself in front of a room with the inscription, "Room of Fear." She entered and saw a dark purple light. In the center of the room stood a trembling figure. "Hello, Sophie. I am Fear," said the figure. "Sometimes when someone says something you don't like, you might feel fear. Do you want to learn how to deal with it?" Sophie nodded. Yes, please. Fear is a natural emotion, Fear said. It's important to understand what you're afraid of. You can try talking to someone who supports you, or find a way to calm down, such as deep breathing. Sophie thought about what Fear said. But what if my fear is very strong? Fear replied. Then it's worth finding something that calms you, like a favorite toy book or a place where you feel safe. Sophie thanked Fear and moved on to the next door. This time she found herself in front of a room with the inscription Room of Peace. She entered and saw bright green light. In the center of the room sat a tranquil figure. "Hello, Sophie, I am Peace," said the figure. "Sometimes, when someone says something you don't like, you can try to find peace. Do you want to learn how to do that?" Sophie nodded. "Yes, I really would." "Peace is an important emotion," Peace said. "You can try meditation, listening to calm music, or walking in the fresh air. It's important to find a way to calm down in difficult moments." Sophie thought about what Peace said. "But what if I can't find peace?" Peace replied. "Then it's worth trying different relaxation techniques until you find something that works for you. Remember, peace is within you. You just need to find it." Sophie thanked Peace and returned to her room. She felt much better knowing she had different ways to deal with her emotions. She decided that next time someone said something she didn't like, she would try to apply what she had learned in the mysterious castle. Sophie understood that every emotion is natural and important. She learned how to handle anger, sadness, joy, fear, and peace. She knew that now, when someone said something she didn't like, she could respond in a way that wouldn't hurt others and would help herself. Sophie was proud of herself and knew she could always return to the mysterious castle of emotions whenever she needed to. And so, with new knowledge and confidence, Sophie was ready to face any challenge life might bring her.